I named the album Teenage Dream because it's a song off the record that just makes you feel this euphoric feeling.
There have been times in the past where I've sort of compromised my comfort for some songs, and I feel like I'm finally really in control.
No, seriously, you think my life is so funny. Like, oh, let's make fun of the girl who took a risk and put herself out there creatively.
Anti was the first time that I took my time making an album while not being on tour, and that frustrated my fans a bit, and here I am doing it again to them.
When you're a kid, when you're a teenager and you're falling in love for the first time, or you have like a fantasy about someone that you kind of idolize, like maybe it's a person or a poster on your wall that you grew up having on your wall, and you just like, maybe you wanted to meet them or be like them or like fall in love with them. Teenage Dream is kind of that feeling I wanted to exude off this record. Like, I really want you guys to fall in love with me.
So remember when pop stars used to completely dominate culture? I'm not talking about going #1 for a week and then fading out of everyone's minds. I'm talking about full-on cultural chokeholds. Well, in 2010, Katy Perry did exactly that. Her Teenage Dream era wasn't just successful, it was insane, like record-breaking, reality-distorting, how did we even let this happen levels of insane. And honestly, most of us have kind of forgotten just how big it really was. So today we're going to look back at Katy Perry's Teenage Dream era, the records, the aesthetic, the chaos, and the cultural chokehold it had on everyone who was alive during it, because honestly it was way crazier than you'll probably remember. Let's paint the picture. It's summer 2010, pop music is thriving, Lady Gaga has just released the Fame Monster, inventing new outfits every day. Kesha is brushing her teeth with a bottle of Jack, which sounds less like a song lyric and more like a medical emergency.
With a bottle of Jack.
Justin Bieber is turning Baby into the most hated yet beloved YouTube video in history. In other words, the world was already saturated with big personalities and even bigger songs. Then, out of nowhere, Katy Perry comes through with California Girls. A single so aggressively summery that you could basically feel the sunburn just listening to it. Snoop Dogg is there for some reason wearing a suit made of candy.
Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey.
And suddenly, Katy Perry is no longer just a quirky pop act, she's a full-on pop icon.
People are taking pictures. I've never done anything like this. I'm not used to like having people doing my hair and my makeup and running and putting on slippers.
And the timing couldn't have been better. The late 2000s was dominated by darker electropop sounds. Lady Gaga had Bad Romance, Rihanna had Rated R, and then here comes Katy with bubblegum colors, candy-coated visuals, and lyrics about melting popsicles. It was escapism, it was loud, chaotic, the perfect contrast to everything else happening at the time. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where things start to get unreal. Teenage Dream didn't just sell well, it broke records that seemed impossible for a modern pop star to touch. The album gave us 5 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework,
You just gotta ignite the
E.T. and Last Friday Night. That lineup is insane. Like, that's not just a good run, that's a greatest hits album disguised as a regular album. And to put that into perspective, the only other album in history to do that before was Michael Jackson's Bad. That's it, just Katy Perry and Michael Jackson sharing that achievement, which is wild because those eras were so different. Michael Jackson had the whole 80s behind him, MTV, and decades of build-up. Katy Perry, she had whipped cream bra cannons and Twitter memes.
If you don't like kittens or cotton candy, get the fuck out.
By the way, she almost got a 6 #1 single with The One That Got Away. It peaked on #3, but if streaming had been around back then, it would have definitely been another chart topper. The point is, Katy Perry wasn't just popular, she was everywhere. If you turned on the radio in 2011, there was literally a 50-50 chance it was her song playing. Now let's talk about the visuals, because the Teenage Dream era wasn't just about music, it was about branding, and Katy Perry's brand was sugar.
Hi, welcome to Candyfornia. Hope this isn't annoying.
Literally Candyland on steroids. We're talking bright pink wigs, lollipop forests, gummy bear armies. She had an entire music video where Snoop Dogg is basically Willy Wonka, and somehow it worked.
Katy, my lady. Look at here, baby.
In Last Friday Night, she played this awkward teenage alter ego named Kathy Beth Terry, complete with braces and nerd glasses.
I just woke up and my solar system was off of the pose.
Partying with Rebecca Black. Yes, Friday Rebecca Black. It was chaotic, it was camp, it was perfect. But this wasn't just random chaos, it was branding. Katy Perry knew exactly what she was doing. Pop stars in the 2010s weren't just competing with each other's music, they were competing with their own images. Gaga had avant-garde fashion, Rihanna had edgy bad girl vibes, Taylor Swift had country to pop transition, girl next door energy, and Katy, she doubled down on bubblegum, campy, chaotic, technicolor fun. You couldn't confuse Katy Perry for anything other than a pop star. And all of it worked because she didn't half-ass it. She committed, like she literally toured in cupcake bras and performed with giant cats on stage. It was all so theatrical that even if you didn't like her music, you could not ignore her.
The title of the album used to be Moonlight, which is still a very special song to me, and in a way I feel like it's the centerpiece of the album because it's so special. But I feel like when I started putting out music I was 16, 17 years old, and now I'm 22, and I've grown so much, I've learned so much, I've grown up and a little bit and evolved, and I feel like this song represents more accurately where I'm at now. I feel like the first verse of Dangerous Woman is kind of my favorite. I love that part because it's just sort of, don't need permission, made my decision to test my limits, here I am, I'm coming into my own. Mature and dark, kind of sexier, pop, urban mix that, I don't know, I just feel like this title more accurately represented the work in its entirety.
You know how some artists have that one era where everything just clicks? The music, the visuals, the vibe. It's like watching someone finally unlock their final form. For Ariana Grande, it was Dangerous Woman, but that moment didn't come right away because let's be honest, when she first entered the pop world, Ariana was mostly known for two things: her insane whistle notes and the fact that she used to be on Nickelodeon.
It's me, Kat. Hi! Okay,
And while that was enough to get people's attention, it wasn't enough to define her. So when she dropped Dangerous Woman in 2016, everything changed. This era wasn't just a rebrand, it was the moment Ariana Grande transformed from a talented singer trying to find her lane into a fully realized pop icon. The music leveled up, the visuals became instantly iconic, and for the first time, Ariana Grande wasn't being compared to other artists, she was finally compared to herself. Okay, so before we get into the bunny ears and the hits, we need to rewind a little bit. Ariana's career before Dangerous Woman was already off to a strong start, but it also felt like something was missing. Her debut album, Yours Truly, in 2013 was heavily R&B influenced and very Mariah Carey-esque. Like so much that people would not stop comparing the two, which to be fair is a compliment, but it also meant that Ariana had not carved out her own space yet. Then came My Everything in 2014. This was Ariana's big pop push, the era of Problem, Break Free, Love Me Harder, and Bang Bang. On paper, this was the perfect formula. She had Iggy Azalea features, Zed production, Jessie J collabs. It was basically a 2014 time capsule, and it did work. The songs were huge. But here's the thing, when we look back at that era, it doesn't really scream Ariana Grande. It screams the label threw everything at the wall to see what sticks. To make matters worse, Ariana's public image around this time was complicated. There was the infamous 2015 donut shop incident. You know, the one where she licked a donut on camera and said she hated America. That clip went viral instantly and had people calling her ungrateful, bratty, and immature, which for a young female pop star trying to rebrand as serious was not the best look. So going into her third album, Ariana was at a crossroads. She had the talent, she had the fan base, but she did not have a clear identity. And that's exactly what she fixed with Dangerous Woman. Now let's talk about the music itself, because this is where the rebrand really shines. In 2016, the safe move would have been for Ariana to stick with EDM pop. Calvin Harris and the Chainsmokers were everywhere, and the formula was basically guaranteed chart success. But thankfully, Ariana did not take that route. Instead, she gave us Dangerous Woman, which was basically a showcase of her range. A rock-tinged ballad with massive belts, unlike anything she had released before. A flawless, shimmering pop anthem that still gets called one of the best songs of the decade. Then you've got Side to Side, which leaned into reggae pop with Nicki Minaj delivering one of the most quoted verses ever. And it didn't stop there. Tracks like Greedy, gave disco energy. Let Me Love You was sultry R&B. Sometimes was breezy and light. It wasn't just a pop album, it was basically Ariana saying, I can dominate every single genre you throw at me. But the most important part though, it did not feel like a playlist of random experiments. The thread running through all of it was Ariana's voice and her newfound confidence.
Sound to evolve as well, and I feel like that growth is sort of represented in this body of work.
It was cohesive because she was in control this time. They were purely Ariana Grande songs and no one else could have pulled them off.
No, seriously, you think my life is so funny. Like, oh, let's make fun of the girl who took a risk and put herself out there creatively.
C XOXO was Camila's flop era, and that's what she's reflecting on here, essentially. The fact that people didn't get it and didn't like it when it came out.
It was really intended as a concept album. Before, even though it's uncomfortable and other people maybe are kind of like, what the hell is this? And it came from a very authentically curious place, and it brought me a lot of joy, so much inspiration, and so much growth.
Do you ever watch a pop star rebrand so hard you start wondering if they're confused too? Because that's kind of what the C XOXO era felt like to me. Camila Cabello, once known for romantic ballads and Latin pop love songs, dropped an album in 2024 that had her rapping in baby voices, name-dropping trauma, and posting blurry iPhone selfies like she just discovered Tumblr in 2023. And when the album came out, the reaction was complicated. Some people called it bold, others called it confusing, and a lot of people just didn't call it at all. But looking back now with some distance and context, C XOXO wasn't just a sonic experiment or a quirky pop moment. It felt like the musical equivalent of a personality crisis, like Camila was throwing everything at the wall. We're talking trap beats, glitch pop, confessional lyrics, chaotic visuals, just to see what might stick, and spoiler alert, not a lot did. So let's talk about C XOXO, a title that feels like it's trying really hard to be deep, but also cute, but also chaotic, which now that I think about might be the whole album in a nutshell. Camila Cabello has been in the public eye for over a decade. She started out on the X Factor at just 15 years old, and from there she skyrocketed into girl group fame with Fifth Harmony, a group that was essentially built in a lab by Simon Cowell. For a while, Camila's image was safe. She was the shy, quirky one, the one who smiled a lot, the one who cried on stage during emotional songs and wore crop tops with inspirational quotes on them. Then in 2016, she broke away from the group and went solo, giving us Havana, which was, let's be honest, a massive hit. It felt like she finally had her own sound. Latin pop with a bit of mainstream gloss and a personal story woven into it. She was Cuban Mexican, proud of it, and the music reflected that. And that version of Camila Cabello, the solo artist who wrote songs like Consequences, Real Friends,
I'm just looking for some real friends. All they ever do is let me down.
and Liar,
Oh no, there you go. Making me a liar. Got me begging you for more.
felt like she was figuring herself out. But then something shifted. The music became less distinct, the visuals got more chaotic, and the public started asking a very important question. What is Camila Cabello trying to be? Because here's the thing, ever since her second album, she's gone through what I would call a personality blender. You know, when you take every popular aesthetic, throw it into a smoothie and hope it tastes good. One day she's doing spiritual captions and soft focused poetry. The next she's on TikTok doing hot mess content in a parking lot. And now with C XOXO, she's rapping in a baby voice and dressing like a scene kid in a music video shot on VHS. The whole rebrand just came out of nowhere. There was no gradual evolution. There was no lead-in project to bridge the gap. It was just like boom. One day she's soft and sad in a forest, and next she's dressed like she's about to perform at a warehouse rave somewhere in Europe. It's like when you change your entire aesthetic overnight and expect your friends not to notice, except instead of friends, it's millions of listeners, and instead of not noticing, we're very confused. And I think that's where the disconnect lies. Camila keeps reinventing herself, but she doesn't take us with her. So yeah, C XOXO wasn't just a new album, it was a full-blown identity reset. But the question isn't whether Camila can pull off a rebrand, it's whether we actually buy it. And once we dive into the album itself, you'll start to see why so many people didn't. Okay, let's talk about the actual music, because C XOXO isn't just a weird phase, it's a full-blown concept album. From the visuals, the cover art, and the scattered promo, it's clear she's going for a coming-of-age narrative. You know, messy girl in her 20s, figuring out life, maybe oversharing a little too much. Think diary entries, late-night text, crying on the bathroom floor, but make it fashion. And honestly, that could have worked. However, the songs don't really develop the story. They hint at it, but never land on anything solid. This was the first taste we got of the new Camila era, and to be fair, it did go viral on TikTok, mostly because of the music video, which was flashy, hyper edited, and weirdly hypnotic, as well as the choreography, which TikTok loved. They were dance challenges, meme edits, and people trying to decode the meaning of her glitchy eye patch mask thing. I don't know what to call it. So in terms of promotion, the song worked. It got attention, it started conversations, and looked like a hit. But when you actually listen to it, like the full song, not just the TikTok snippet, it kind of falls apart. The lyrics are repetitive, the chorus is so repetitive, the vocal effects are overwhelming.
Slow down, babe.
Which should have been a bold genre blending moment, but it ended up feeling awkward and overproduced, like two different visions smashed into one song. And that's the pattern. The album keeps throwing aesthetics at you, but none of it feels connected. It's like she's performing different versions of herself without ever introducing the real one. You go from Chanel number 5
I got Chanel number 5, I never survived to crime to crime. You watch when I whine, I know.
to 20-somethings to Dade County Dreaming
City girls, XOXO. I'm from
the city where the streets ain't pretty.
And it starts to feel less like a listening experience and more like scrolling through someone's mood board at 3 a.m. Every song flirts with a different persona, but none of them feel lived in. None of them feel like Camila is actually there. And that's what makes the album frustrating. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it never became anything fully. It's not pop perfection, it's not experimental art, it's not introspective, it's not shallow. It's all of those things and none of them at the same time. So yeah, C XOXO isn't a complete disaster. It has moments, it has ambition, and visually it knows exactly what it wants to be, but musically it feels like an identity in flux. Like Camila knows she wants to say something, she just hasn't figured out how to say it in her own voice. And that brings us to the bigger question: who exactly is Camila Cabello trying to be?
Anti was the first time that I took my time making an album while not being on tour. And that frustrated my fans a bit, and here I am doing it again to them. But Anti for sure, top favorite album I've ever made.
Rihanna is no stranger to reinvention. She's given us club bangers, emotional ballads, and a multi-billion-dollar beauty empire. But when it comes to her music, there's one album that truly stands apart from the rest: Anti. Let's be real, Rihanna could have kept making chart-topping hits forever. She had the formula down, but then she did something no one expected. She stopped. After years of back-to-back releases, Rihanna disappeared from the music scene, and when she finally returned, she didn't just drop another Loud or Unapologetic. Instead, she gave us Anti. An album that completely shattered expectations. No obvious radio singles, no attempt to chase trends, just raw, unfiltered genre-blending music that felt more like a passion project than a commercial release. And yet, Anti is one of her most successful albums ever. To understand why Anti was such a big deal, we have to go back to the early 2010s when Rihanna was basically the hardest working woman in pop. Between 2005 and 2012, Rihanna dropped 7 albums in 7 years. Most pop stars take 3 to 4 years between projects, but Rihanna was releasing music every single year. And it paid off. Good Girl Gone Bad solidified her as a superstar. Rated R showed her darker, edgier side. Loud, Talk That Talk, and Unapologetic were huge, packed with radio hits like We Found Love, Where Have You Been, and Diamonds. At this point, Rihanna was known for being unstoppable, but then she stopped. After the release of Unapologetic in 2012, Rihanna didn't rush into her next album cycle like before. There was no surprise single, no back-to-back releases, just silence.
I was touring one album, making the next, and then I came back and toured that album and made the next, and then Anti was the first time that I took my time making an album while not being on tour.
And when she finally did emerge, the music she teased was nothing like what fans were used to. First there was 4 or 5 seconds. I think I've had enough. an acoustic track featuring Kanye West and Paul McCartney. This song left fans confused. Was Rihanna going folk now? Then she dropped Bitch Better Have My Money,
Bitch better have my money.
a hard-hitting trap anthem with one of the wildest music videos of her career. And just when people thought she was shifting into a more aggressive rap sound, she released American Oxygen,
Breathe out, breathe in. American oxygen.
a politically charged ballad that sounded like it belonged to a completely different album. At this point, nobody knew what Rihanna was doing. Was she experimenting, testing different sounds, or was she just lost in the creative process? Then, in January 2016, after months of delays and speculation, Anti finally arrived, and it was nothing like what anyone expected. First of all, Anti didn't sound like a traditional pop album at all. There were no easy radio hits, no guaranteed club anthems, and absolutely zero concern for what was trending at the time. Instead, Anti was moody, atmospheric, and deeply personal. It blended R&B, soul, dancehall, and even psychedelic rock. The production felt raw, almost messy in some places, but in a way that actually worked. It is hypnotic, it's infectious, and it's Rihanna embracing her creativity in a way she never had before. The entire album was unpredictable, every track was a different experience, and the reason why I love this album so much is because it feels like an actual album, not just a collection of songs, but a carefully crafted body of work where every track serves a purpose. Rihanna plays with different genres so effortlessly. One moment she's embracing dancehall influences,
I believe that all of your dreams are duration.
the next she's delivering a soulful, gut-wrenching vocal performance.
Baby, you got me like I.
She experiments with psychedelic rock and stripped-down piano-driven ballads.
Nothing but a tear that's all for breakfast.
Lyrically, Anti is raw and emotionally complex. Rihanna isn't just singing about love and heartbreak, she's exploring power dynamics, vulnerability, self-destruction, and the push and pull of desire. Tracks like Needed Me flip the traditional breakup narrative, making Rihanna the cold-hearted one, while Higher sounds like an emotional voicemail you shouldn't have sent.
This whiskey got me feeling pretty.
In retrospect, Anti was Rihanna's way of saying, I don't care what the industry wants, I'm making the music I want to make. And somehow that made the album even bigger. So let's talk about what happened after Anti dropped, because this album didn't just change Rihanna's career, it changed the entire music industry. When Anti was released in 2016, it wasn't met with immediate universal praise. Critics and fans alike were confused. This wasn't the Rihanna they were used to. Where were the club bangers? Where was the usual radio-friendly, high-energy pop? Instead, she gave us consideration with a heavy, gritty beat and sharp, unapologetic vocals. Consideration is Rihanna claiming her artistic independence.
I got to do things my own way, darling.
But the fascinating thing about music that's ahead of its time, it ages so beautifully, and that's exactly what happened with Anti. Over the years, the album has become one of Rihanna's most celebrated works. It proved that pop stars don't have to follow a formula to make an impact. They don't have to chase hits, they can create art, and if it's good enough, the world will eventually catch up. And that's exactly what happened. Anti might not have been packed with obvious radio singles, but it still produced some of the biggest hits of Rihanna's career. Work became her 14th #1 single, Needed Me was everywhere, and Love on the Brain reminded everyone that Rihanna, in fact, can sing.
Baby, like I.
The album ended up becoming her longest charting album ever and solidifying itself as one of the biggest R&B/pop crossover records of the decade. That's the thing about Anti, it has never faded into the background. It's one of those albums that keeps getting referenced, keeps getting streamed, and keeps being discovered by new listeners. Most albums have a moment and then disappear, but Anti, it's a cultural reset. That's it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying till the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this one, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments. And with that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon.